maybe the biggest surprise in some ways has been, I can bring more to this in the lanes that I've worked in. And therefore, keeping to that and not, trying to be too many things. We talked about AEW. I don't even know how he does it to be booker, CEO, and then, run two other sports or whatever it is, right? So, but even that just goes against my philosophy of sort of, if you're running it, here's the direction I want. But, having people that can do the creative, support the event or the direction I want to go is really, really important. So I've probably been surprised at times that there's, a hierarchy where one person at the top seems to have to do everything. And there's a lot of people that want to help. I don't have that problem. I have people wanting to help and they're not bleeding me for money or anything like that. They want to have a crack. And it's like, so I've probably been surprised a bit about that. Like there's a lot of good people out there that, I probably haven't spent enough time trying to go, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to hand this over to you. Do something, we're going to launch something next week around a sort of fan engagement tool called OPW Nation. And like that is bringing somebody on board to help who has a skill set. And so back to your question, it's like, I think the surprise is there's a lot of people out there that want to help for really good intentions and good reasons. And, I've got to keep to my own philosophies of, I've got skill sets around running sport, try and put people in place that, can run wrestling and know wrestling and have that skill set. That's, that's there better than I thought. But the surprise is probably that people want to do everything. And that's, I don't know. It's hard to do everything, right? It's hard to be the promoter, the booker, and then compete in the main event like that. That to me is
I think for the most part, when people are promoters, they want to be the booker. They want to be their own Vince McMahon. They want to be able to, dictate to what's going on. And sometimes,
I really don't. But I want to run a really good business model and be hopefully profitable and then successful and go. You can be the front person, or like I have no desire to get in that ring at all.
not gonna turn heel and become the Mr. Vale character.
If I do, I've sold myself out because it must be two reasons. He's either really worked out a way to make money, or he's abandoned everything he said he was going to do.
But I feel like that's for the most part. Like, and as I said, anyone who gets involved in wrestling, whether it's promoting wrestling, they're a fan from the business from the get go. There's something in there. I feel like you look at Tony Khan. I think he is one of the most probably passionate people about the business and just wants to immerse himself in it. But I feel like if you look at it from a business model and see how they've I feel like they've declined over the last 12 months. I feel like that's because he has so many great minds there, but he's just not willing to let go of the magic cup. He's not willing to give that freedom up. And it's clear like that because he wants to be everyone's buddy. You know what I mean?
He could be the best CEO in wrestling of all time, right? Like he has a skill set and he has the money. But if he was the helicopter CEO or promoter or owner, whatever he wants to call himself, and then put all the right people underneath and lead them, but let them do their jobs. I think that could be a game changer, right? Like that. Absolutely. That's where they could be at a different level. And yeah, you're right. Like wrestling is, again, similar to other sports. Most, fans become players or performers in this case or whatever. And then you might lead into coaching or other roles. So it's definitely part of it. But yeah, I couldn't agree more that I think he's one guy who needs to be Mr. Helicopter, right? Like just he can have the best management team and producers and execs around him, but just empower them, but give them that direction as to this is where we want the company to go. When you're in that position too, when you give people responsibility, they generally thrive. Generally speaking,
because they for their careers, they want to show that they can provide success, that they can add value to an organization. You know what I mean? Because if you're not adding value sooner or later, well, what are you here for?
Yeah, correct.
So and that's the thing, the overall. But I think he's probably still learning along the seat of his pants about how wrestling operates, because what we see, like he wants wrestling to be, he wants that company to be friendly and everyone's all friends and we all, come in close. But like sometimes when you have that level of position, you have to have a side of you that can be a heavy, that, or have a heavy there that can step in and go, no, this is not how business is going to be done. And I feel like that's probably one of his downfalls, to be honest.
Well, and again, that's definitely not the comparison, right? But when you're CEO and you're running sports, and again, you have key people in charge, commercial, finance, coaching. You have to be in a position to keep them accountable, feet to the fire, that sort of stuff. But you've got to give them a chance to succeed. And if you are too close to it, I mean, some of the toughest times I have in sport is where you have to, especially with coaches, you have to, let them go. And ultimately, if you let go too many coaches, then the boards start to go, I think the CEO is actually the real problem here. You can't seem to find the right person. So, but you have to be able to separate yourself. It's a big part of running sport and business, because sport is so passionate, right? It's different to other, to run office work, or to run your cafe or whatever you like. There's a passion inside sport. And when you get the business part, like it's such a fine line to getting it right. And if you're too entrenched in it, as I said, you have to, sad as it is, you want everyone to do really successful, but you also have to be prepared to go, look, a hard decision has to be made. And if you're in charge, you're the one that has to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think if you have too many hats wearing too many hats at the one time, I feel like there's only so much someone can take before burnout starts to kick in. And some people can go years, but like there's always going to be that moment where it just, and you crash and burn.
Yeah. And look, I hope, I really, because I've been running events with other, one event now, the second event, StarCast, running it with other people. I haven't really had to do any of the booking side, but even with the showcase, and the talent were great with me, right? But honestly, I was learning on the ropes to sort of, hey, here's what's going to happen. And then, I've shared this with anyone. I hadn't really explained who was going to be the, the face or the heel. So the talent very politely asked me. I mean, they were very good with me that day. And again, it's like, it's even for me and my small business. And when I do my first standalone OPW event, I'll be looking for somebody to help book the show, because that's not my skill set, number one. And number two, I need to give direction, but I want somebody else to be able to do that, because I see that like the coach. So I think it's one of the most important roles. Like the coach was always more important than the CEO, even if I got paid more or was higher in the food chain, because the importance of obviously the on-field product and the same here is critical. So it's something I have thought a lot about, even at my simple level, to go, first OPW show probably be standalone will be in August, still with some brands, but I'll have more control. And I will be looking to go, who's going to help book this show for me? Who can help find the talent? Here's the direction I want to go. We're going to run this many nights. I want a mix of skills or styles, so I'll give that direction and then go, you go off and do that for me. You help me do that, so that it's no different to everything else I've ever done. And empower people in the key positions. Don't think you can do it all yourself.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's probably the wisest thing. Bringing in someone who is experienced or has the leverage to be able to put it together and assist you to grow it. And even then, for yourself, it's like a learning experience for you, because then you're sort of getting a firsthand experience on how to book a show or how to put a card together and put it all together, which, long term is, even a CEO should be able to have a good understanding of the direct reports, what they do and how they do their job.
Yeah, you have to, so this is the key, right? You said it really well. You have to have an understanding, but in a perfect world, everyone in those direct reports can do the job in that direct report better than you can. Your skill as CEO is to be able to oversee and keep the whole thing moving. And whether it's 2 roles or 8, whatever your management structure or your business structure, and it doesn't got nothing to do with pay either, right? It's got nothing to do with whether they're full-time or volunteers. But the key of the CEO is to be the best person to lead the group. and have everyone in positions that are all better than you individually. So again,
subject matter expert.
Yeah, if I had to do the booking, then I haven't got the right people, right? Because there must be people that can do it better than me.